You think you've seen stupid? You haven't. These 29 moments will make your brain physically hurt, and you won't be able to look away. Moment 1. Picture a grocery store. Bright lights, organized aisles, prices clearly labeled on every single shelf. A shopper approaches the register, watches the cashier scan each item, watches the total climb on a screen directly in front of their face, and then, when the final number appears, gasps like they've been personally attacked. That's too expensive, they announce, as if the register is open to negotiation, as if the cashier invented the prices that morning as a personal insult. The cashier, earning $12 an hour, stares back with the dead eyes of someone who has had this exact conversation 400 times. The prices were the prices before you put them in the cart. That is how commerce works. Moment 2. A restaurant. A couple orders steaks, both well done, which is a separate conversation. And when the food arrives 12 minutes later, one of them flags down the server. "I didn't like the ambiance," she explains, "so I don't think I should have to pay. Not the food, not the service, the vibe. She ate the steak, she ate the bread. She asked for a second Diet Coke. But the lighting felt a little orange, and apparently that entitles someone to a full refund." The server smiles the smile of someone who has made peace with the absurdity of the universe. Moment 3. A man calls a tech support line because his laptop isn't working. After 20 minutes of troubleshooting, the technician discovers the device is not plugged in. Not the charger, the laptop itself. It has no battery, it requires a cord. The cord is on the desk next to it. The man is furious. "Why didn't you tell me to plug it in?" he demands. "Sir, with respect, that is the first thing they told you." It was item 1 on a laminated card that came in the box. Moment 4. A gym. A woman is outraged that she's not losing weight despite going to the gym every single day. A reasonable concern, except she drives to the gym, parks as close to the door as physically possible, walks to the smoothie bar, orders a 600-calorie banana peanut butter shake, sits in the massage chair for 40 minutes, and leaves. She has technically been to the gym. She has not technically exercised. These are two different things, and the gap between them is exactly where her results went. Moment 5. Someone leaves a 1-star review for a hiking trail because it was too outdoorsy. There were trees. The ground was uneven. There were insects present. They were outside on a trail in a forest. The title of the trail included the word wilderness. This is not a failure of the trail. This is a failure of expectations that should have been caught at the parking lot when they saw the sign saying uneven terrain ahead. Be honest. Did they think the rocks were going to apologize? Moment 6. A flight attendant is yelled at because the plane is delayed due to a thunderstorm. Not rerouted, not canceled, delayed by 40 minutes because of lightning. The passenger demands an explanation as if the flight attendant controls atmospheric pressure. "I have a connection," the man says. "Yes, and the sky has electricity." These are both true, and only one of them is negotiable. Moment 7. A hotel guest complains that the beach was too sandy. Let that breathe for a moment. The beach was too sandy. At no point in the history of beaches has any beach been not sandy. That is the foundational promise of a beach. The sand is the product. Somehow this made it into a formal written complaint. Somehow, someone typed those words and felt satisfied. Moment 8. A woman returns a carton of eggs to the grocery store because one of them was cracked. 1 out of 12. She wants a full refund for all 12, plus a formal apology. The cracked egg cost approximately 14 cents. The gas she spent driving back to the store cost more than the egg. The time she spent at the customer service counter cost more than the gas. But the principle, apparently, is priceless, and also completely disconnected from any recognizable sense of proportion. Moment 9, and somehow we're still warming up. A man files a complaint against a library for being too quiet. The library, the institution that has been culturally associated with silence since the invention of the written word. He wanted to have a phone call, loudly, inside. He was asked to step outside. He considers this a human rights issue. The librarian, who has a master's degree and earns less than a parking attendant, just wanted to help people find books. Moment 10. A parent writes an angry email to a teacher because their child received a B+ on an essay. Not because the grading was unfair. Not because there was an error. Because according to the parent, their child tried really hard. An effort should automatically translate to an A. The teacher thoughtfully explained that the essay had structural issues and offered to help the student revise. The parent responded by CCing the principal, the superintendent, and inexplicably, a local news station. The child got a B+. The child is fine. Only the adults in this situation are having a crisis. Moment 11. A man at a theme park is furious that the roller coaster has a height requirement. He is too short by 1 inch. This is a safety regulation backed by engineering, physics, and liability law developed over decades of accident data. He does not care about any of this. He wants to speak to someone who can override gravity. Unfortunately, no one at the ticket booth has that clearance. Moment 12. This next one defies logic. A woman calls a pizza place to complain that her pizza arrived cold. A fair concern, except she ordered it 2 hours ago, declined the driver's 3 attempts to reach her by phone, and only opened the door when she got hungry. The pizza was warm when it left the store. The pizza made its journey promptly. Time, however, continued passing in the interim as it tends to do. She wants a free replacement. The pizza place remarkably agrees. This is either excellent customer service or a complete surrender to chaos. Moment 13. A man at a car dealership is upset because the car he wants doesn't come in the exact color he wants, with the exact features he wants, at the price he wants, shipped to his city in the time frame he wants. None of these things are simultaneously available. He has been told this. He nods, leaves, comes back the next day, and asks the same questions again, apparently hoping for different answers. The definition of insanity, famously, has never been more applicable. Moment 14. A customer at a coffee shop demands a refund because the barista spelled her name wrong on the cup. Her name was Shiobon. She told it verbally. She did not spell it. The barista, who speaks English as a second language and is serving 40 people an hour, wrote Shivan. The coffee inside the cup was perfect. The name was phonetically reasonable. But the cup, apparently, caused emotional damage sufficient to warrant compensation and a formal complaint to corporate. Have you ever seen this level of misplaced energy in person? It is something to witness. Moment 15. A man in a hardware store is angry that the staff can't help him find a product that doesn't exist. He wants a paint that is waterproof, fire-resistant, non-toxic, completely invisible, and permanent, for $12 a gallon. He read about it somewhere online. He cannot recall where. The associate, a patient and admirable human, explains that no such product exists in this dimension. The man asks to see a manager, certain that someone in the building is hiding the miracle paint from him. Moment 16. A woman leaves a negative review for a novel because it had too many words. It was a novel, a written novel, with chapters and sentences. In a book, she wanted it shorter. She wanted it to get to the point faster. The author spent 3 years writing it. She spent 40 minutes reading it before giving up, and then another 10 minutes writing the review. In what world is this the author's failure? Moment 17. It somehow gets worse. A man sues a dry cleaner for $54 million over a pair of pants. Not damaged beyond repair, not lost permanently. Returned 2 days late and, in his estimation, not pressed with sufficient sharpness. $54 million for trousers. The dry cleaner, a small family business, nearly went bankrupt defending against this. The judge dismissed the case and also presumably re-evaluated his entire understanding of American civil litigation. Would you like to know how the pants looked? Fine. They looked fine. Moment 18. A neighbor knocks on someone's door to complain that their wind chimes are too musical, not too loud, not at an inappropriate hour, just too melodic. The neighbor finds the specific notes irritating. She has compiled a list of preferred chime tones she considers acceptable. She has brought the list. She is serious. The homeowner stares at the list. The wind continues, unbothered, entirely indifferent to this negotiation. Moment 19. A woman calls animal control because a bird is singing too early in the morning. It was a wild bird, in a tree, doing what birds have done since before recorded history. She wants it removed. Animal control explains carefully that they do not relocate birds for being birds. She asks for a supervisor. The bird, somewhere outside, continues its morning song as it will every morning forever, regardless of the outcome of this call. Moment 20. A man demands a refund from a travel agency because during his beach vacation. Not a hurricane, not a flood, rain, which occurs in every country, at every beach, in every season, as a basic function of Earth's water cycle. The travel agency did not sell him a weather guarantee. No travel agency on the planet sells weather guarantees because no travel agency on the planet controls the weather. He disputes this. He believes somebody should have told him it could rain. The brochure incidentally said, "Weather may vary." Moment 21. Be honest, does it surprise you that someone once complained to a zoo that the animals weren't performing enough? They came to see lions. The lions were lying down. Lions sleep up to 20 hours a day. This is a documented, publicly available fact. The lions were not failing at their jobs. They were, in fact, doing exactly what lions do when they have eaten and feel safe. The visitor wanted energy. The lions offered existence. The compromise was never reached. Moment 22. A man shows up to a restaurant at 9:58 p.m. The kitchen closes at 10 p.m. He orders a 7-course meal. When told the kitchen can only accommodate simpler items at this hour, he files a complaint saying the restaurant refused to serve him. He was served. He received a burger and a dessert. He was served well. He is still upset. He will write a review. The review will say he was turned away at the door, which is a creative reimagining of what actually happened. Moment 23. A woman at a car wash is furious that her convertible got wet. She had the top down. She drove into a car wash. With the top down, the attendant asked twice if she wanted to raise the top. She said it was fine. It was not fine. It was in fact extremely wet. She wants a refund and a free interior detailing. The car wash, facing a moral dilemma they were never trained for, tries to explain the sequence of decisions that led to this outcome. She maintains that someone should have stopped her. Someone tried. She said it was fine. It wasn't moment 24. A man calls his bank's customer service line and is put on hold for 6 minutes. He is upset. He wants compensation for his time. He calculates that his time is worth $300 an hour, based apparently on nothing, and therefore he is owed $30 for the 6 minutes. He presents this math with confidence. The bank representative does not have the authority to pay people for hold times. Nobody has that authority. It does not exist. He asks for it anyway. He is still on hold in spirit to this day, moment 25. And now we are entering a different atmosphere entirely. A man writes a letter to the sun, the actual sun, the star, complaining about the heat. He found the address to a solar research institute, which is the closest thing he could locate, and mailed a handwritten letter expressing his displeasure with summer temperatures. He requested that something be done. The institute, to their eternal credit, wrote back. They explained that adjusting solar output was outside their current capabilities. He found this response inadequate. Moment 26. A woman sues a fortune teller for giving her an inaccurate prediction. The fortune teller said she would find love in the spring. It is now autumn. She has not found love. She paid $40 for the reading. She wants $40 back plus damages for emotional suffering and a corrected fortune. The fortune teller, a professional in the business of telling people what they want to hear, is now entangled in a legal dispute over the accuracy of mysticism. This is a real category of lawsuit. Courts have seen it. Judges have had to keep straight faces. Moment 27. A man contacts NASA, the space agency, to complain that the moon is too bright at night and is disturbing his sleep. He believes NASA controls the moon's brightness. He has suggestions. He has written them down. He would like the moon dim by approximately 30% on weeknights. NASA's public communications team responded. They explained the moon's illumination is a function of reflected sunlight and orbital position, neither of which is adjustable by committee. He responded, asking who is responsible for the moon then. That question has not yet been satisfactorily answered. Moment 28. A woman threatens to sue a mirror manufacturer because the mirror makes her look bad. The mirror is a standard, flat, correctly manufactured mirror. It reflects light accurately as mirrors do. She believes the mirror has a defect because the reflection does not match her self-image. She wants a replacement. She has been told that all mirrors function identically, that the reflection is accurate, that no defect exists. She wants a second opinion from a mirror expert. She is still looking for one. Moment 29. And finally, the pinnacle. A man contacts his city council demanding that the ocean be moved 3 miles further from his beach house because the waves are too loud and the water is encroaching on his personal peace. Not a metaphor, not hyperbole. He wants the ocean relocated. He has submitted a formal proposal. He has included a diagram. He has cited property value concerns. He believes this is a zoning issue. He would like it resolved before the summer season. The ocean, which has been in roughly that location for approximately 340 million years, has not yet responded to the request. But the paperwork is apparently in order. What you have just witnessed is not an anomaly. It is a pattern, a persistent, recurring, deeply human pattern of believing that reality is optional and that confidence is a substitute for accuracy. These are not villains. They are simply people who never quite synced up with how things actually work, armed with the unearned certainty that something, the mirror, the moon, the ocean, owes them an adjustment. Common sense, it turns out, is not common. It is rare, it is precious. And based on what we've seen today, it is occasionally on an extended leave of absence. So here's the question, which one broke you the most? Drop it in the comments, and if you have your own moment where you witness common sense completely clock out, share it below. This is a judgment-free zone. Mostly, if this put a grim, amused expression on your face that you cannot quite explain to the people around you, you're in the right place. Subscribe, hit the notification bell, and we'll continue documenting the gap between human expectation and basic reality, one baffling complaint at a time.